Alright, so next step is to create this edit text over here, which appears to the right of this username. So let's find that inside the code. I think this is the one, username value. So here I'm gonna simply put a comment and say, so this will help me remember where the edit text object is, right? And next I'm gonna create another method over here, which is gonna be something like create user name edit text, control space, and then complete the code. Alright, again the same procedure follows. I need to first define the dimensions for this edit text, which is going to be wrap content in width and wrap content in height. For that I'm going to use this object layout params at the top, and here I can simply use my object which is called user name value dimensions. I'll create that over here. I know this is going out of bounds, but you can imagine a practical Android project which has thousands of classes, how complicated that will be. Alright, this is just a simple what you call relative layout with the code, right? So next, let me go and initialize that using the same step. So here I have my wrap content width and height defined. Alright, now next I need to set that. Alright, so next step I need to add the rule, that is this should appear to the right of your username and it should appear below this. So first let's add the right part, right? So this edit text, which is called, well, what is it called? Here it is called username value, should appear to the right of the text view, which is called username, that is this one, right? So let's go and put that rule over here by saying username value dimensions dot add rule. It should be to the right, so I'm gonna say relative layout dot right of, and then we need to pass the ID of this username text view. So if you guys can see at the top, we have already created it, username ID. So this is the ID for that, so let's pass that over here. Also we need to set an ID for this edit text, which is given by this integer here at the top, which is username value ID equals to 3. So let me actually set that over here at the bottom by going here, selecting my username value, which is my edit text dot set ID. It should be username value ID. Alright, I know this is going hectic and out of bounds of you guys, right? It's very complicated, I agree with that. So next what we need to do is call this method create username edit text inside our onCreate method, which we did over here right below these methods. I'm gonna call that. Then we need to add the edit text to our main relative layout by saying main dot add view. It's gonna take two things. First, it's going to be the edit text itself, which is called username value. Then it is going to be the username value dimensions for that, right? And then we are done. And there is another rule which I have not added. If you guys noticed over here, I have told that the username value should appear to the right of this username text. Now I also need to specify that this edit text should appear below this please login first. For that I'm going to add another rule over here by saying username. So here I need to put username value dimensions, and then I'm going to select this on the left side and click run at the top, and then it should work perfectly. Alright, so there you guys go. It's looking good. Alright, now if you guys notice something, the edit text is just this much big. So from that brings another question, that this edit text should also stick to the right side of the parent. So let's go and do that as well. Here to our edit text, I'm going to add another rule by saying user name value dimensions. It's going to be relative layout dot align parent right. Control save, select it here, click at the run at the top. Alright, so now things look a little good since we put align parent right equals to true. The edit text has completely stressed. Let's do the same thing for this password and this edit text which comes right below it, right? Alright, so next let's create this password text view, which you guys can see over here. Let me mark that first here inside our code. This one should be the password text view. Again, I need to set width and height for this using a layout params object. So first let me create a method down here. So now I'm gonna repeat the same step. First I'm gonna make another layout params object for this password text view. Alright, Control Shift F to format stuff. I'm gonna call this. So let me go and initialize this password dimensions object. Alright, so next again, if you notice this password, we need to set a text for this. For that I'm gonna use this text view password, and then I also need to set an ID for this password text view. For that I have already made many IDs over here at the top. Let's find out which ID we want to set. This is the ID which we want to set, which says password ID. So let's go and set that here at the bottom by saying, alright, so the ID has been set. Now we also need to do two more things. We need to make sure that this password text view is aligned parent left, as you guys can see it over here. So let's first add that rule over here to this object password dimensions. So I'm gonna go here and say password dimensions. It should be relative layout dot align parent left. This password text view should appear below this user name text view, right? You guys can see that clearly. So let's go and enforce that as well by saying password dimensions we are going to use the second form of this method, which takes a verb and an anchor. So for that verb, I'm going to say relative layout dot below. Now here we need to pass the ID of this username text view, right? So let's find the ID for that. Here at the top, it should be a username ID, I bet. Well, that's the one, username ID. So let's go and pass that username ID over here at the anchor. Alright, so basically at this step we are done with everything. We just need to call this method create password text view over here inside our onCreate method. So here I'm going to go to the top inside my onCreate. There I'm going to simply say, and then I need to add it to the relative layout. For that I'm going to use this main.addView. I'm going to use a third method which says viewChild, which is my password, that is my text view, and the params object for that is password dimensions. And there you go. So let's actually select this and run this again just to be sure about this. As you guys can see over here, there's my username, there's my password, and here's the problem. If you guys notice, if I say hey inside this text view, this text view comes in the same line as this password. That is because we have said that the password should appear below our username, but actually we should make the password below this edit text, right? So let's go and change that over here by in the IDs where we have said below. It should not be username ID, it should be username value ID, which is the edit text, right? So now let me go make that changes. Save here. Again select it, click run at the top. Alright, so now things look a bit good. As you guys can see, the password has appeared below this edit text instead of this username, so there is no overlap between these two, right? So that looks good. Let's go and add this edit text, which is the password value over here. Let me find that in the code. Well, this must be the one which says password value. So let's create another method. Again, I need to add the same piece of code here. I need to make another layout params object for this edit text over here, which will have a width of wrap content and height of wrap content. So let me go and make that here at the top. Well, those are the ways you name stuff and as per standard practices. So here at the bottom I'm gonna go down, initialize the same object using the same means I've did before. Alright, so now this edit text, we need to add some rules to it. So let's go and do that by saying password edit text should appear to the right of this password text view. So let's go and enforce that by saying relative layout. It should appear to the right of this password text view. So what is the ID for that? I think it's password ID. I'm not so sure about this. We've created all the IDs over here. There is password ID and password value ID. So password ID is the one for that. So let's go and set that over here at the bottom. Alright, so we have added this edit text to the right of this text view. We also need to stick it to the right side by saying align parent right on this. Then I also need to put this edit text right below this edit text, right? So for that I'm going to add another rule over here. And here I need to pass the ID of this edit text over here. So that's called username value, I believe, and username value ID must be the name of that. There you go, username value ID. So that is the thing which I need to put up. So here I'm gonna go to the anchor to remove that. Alright, so at this point everything is basically set up. We just need to call this method create password edit text here right on inside our onCreate method below these. And I also need to add that to our main relative layout by saying main.addView, and password value dimensions are gonna be the constraints for that, right? So again, let's save, select it click at the left side and click run at the top and see how this looks. Alright, so here as you guys can see, our password edit text is come right below this edit text. It's to the right of this password text view, and it is also sticking to the right side of the parent. So take a look at what are the things we have done now. Alright, so in the next video we are gonna continue further from where we have left. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to my channel, comment, let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear from you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next bit. Have a nice day.